Hi, I'm Plumb, and you're watching 117 TV.
Well, everybody's got a story to tell, and everybody's got a wound to be healed. I wanna believe.
Well, the project is called Need You Now, and today we are sitting down with Plumb, and it is so nice to get to meet you and to learn more about, in particular, this super impactful song that has gone gangbusters at radio, Need You Now. And first of all, congratulations on the success of the debut single coming off the album.
Thank you very much. I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that song. And the lyrics alone, even without the beautiful music and everything behind it, are so powerful.
How many times have you heard me cry out, God, please take this? How many times have you given me strength to just keep breathing?
That whole concept of crying out to God and asking Him to take away our burdens, I think all of us can identify with that. What are you hearing from people as far as the impact of the song?
I think it's a really relevant song that I honestly can't take credit for. I just feel like God wrote the song and used me as a pen. It was inspired by real life, and I think maybe that's why people are relating to it, because I think it came from a really authentic, genuine place. I have struggled with panic and anxiety since I was 13, and my attacks would manifest themselves through these really debilitating, intense stomach aches. And so much so that I would hide in my high school bathroom stall, just sometimes praying that I would just die if every day was going to feel like this. I didn't really know that I wanted to live. I wasn't suicidal, but it was so bad so often that I felt really hopeless. And it was also socially paralyzing, because I would be afraid to go on dates or mission trips or youth events, things that I really wanted to participate in. And so it kind of kept me close to God, so I can look back with thankfulness for that. But I don't think God causes or allows bad things. I just think we live in a fallen world where bad things happen. And in my life, that negative experience, the joy that was birthed from that sorrow, I think, is a relationship that kept me close with Him and helped me to relate to other people's suffering. Mm-hmm. And so I wrote a song just basically in the bathroom stall crying out, I need you in general, but I need you right now.
Certainly gotten confirmation of that just by people's response. Have you found that being vulnerable about what you went through and the anxiety, are you surprised at how many people probably tell you, I know what that's like, or I've had my own to a varying degree, issues with anxiety, and that even that form of ministry has been helpful?
You know, I'm not surprised, simply because I'm human, and I have turned on the radio before and heard a song and connected with it, whether it was, being broken up with and you hear a song about a broken heart. Just knowing that you're not alone and hearing almost a metaphorical me too, there's a lot of hope in that, of just knowing I'm not the only person suffering or even going through more specifically what I'm going through right now. And so I'm a listener as well, and when I connect with a song and the hope that it gives me, to know that surely I'm not the only person out there who's had panic attacks and anxiety. And mine, it kind of snowballed into really being motivated by a lot of fear and being in bondage to a lot of fear. From that to kind of breeding into mild depression, and not even really realizing some of the aftermath of that, because as it's kind of manifesting itself in you in that present moment, you don't always get to see, obviously we never get to see the future, but we can kind of look back with hindsight and see He was present all along, and this has helped to shape me to where I am right now. That doesn't make everything just magically disappear, but there is a peace that comes with knowing that ultimately He's in control. And so even if you're still physically or emotionally suffering, whatever it is, that thing in the back of your mind that says, but the Almighty ultimately is in control of this.
Now you're back on the road. Talk about, all of us moms want to know, but kind of the balance between artistry and motherhood and touring and all of that.
I have found balance through community. I think that would be the best way to say it. That being able to ask for help, And sometimes I know there's moms out there that say, I don't have the budget to pay a sitter. Sometimes of just making our family known to our neighbors, being willing to be close and available. Simplifying was huge for us and slowing down. And I think when the more simplified your life is and the less busy, your life can be full without being too busy. And I think at one point we were too busy, and that was part of our problem. But being less busy and more balanced in that regard makes you more available to relationships. And in those relationships you can say, can you watch the kids for the afternoon? Or can you watch them while Jeremy and I go on a date? Or, let them let your kids come with it, and just building relationships. And I think sometimes artists or I guess to speak to the moms out there, the working moms in particular, I think sometimes your career can easily take precedence over your family, and that imbalance, as in the moment it may seem is so fruitful for your family, I think long term it's not. And I think that there's a huge power in saying no. And when people ask you to do things, you have to be able to say no. And I will tell you that, so no, being able to say no, simplicity and community and relationships is one way for me to balance it.
Let's finally talk a little bit about, you've certainly had some great success, particularly with Need You Now on the Christian charts, but also I understand in the dance genre a little bit. People may know you from that. Talk about how that came to be.
I had some remixes done earlier on in my career, and one of which was a song of mine called Damaged, and the artists called themselves Plumb. And it was a song about sexual abuse, and when I heard the remix and that they had named themselves sort of after me, I would love to say that I was humbled, but I was frustrated. At first I was like, why would you remix a song about something so serious and so devastating, really, and then name yourselves Plumb? And I was quickly fed some humble pie because they responded to management's question, which is what mine was, of why are you remixing this? Why did you? And they said, well, we've actually experienced abuse and we're huge fans, and so we named ourselves after her. And I thought, well, I named myself after a Suzanne Vega song because I love her, and she's not mad at me for that. And so I realized that it opened a door for me to have a voice, even if it wasn't my voice, even if it was a cover of or a remix of something else that I had done. It was a voice to an entirely different genre of people that may or may not listen to Christian music. And so it was actually making my audience more diverse. And, music is a universal language. And I think that, if you kind of categorize yourself as just this, there's this huge sea of people that may never get to hear your heart because you've sort of pigeonholed yourself to just this. I'm not one to shove things down people's throats. I'm very much a to each his own kind of person. I want to live out loud and fully alive what I believe, but not necessarily expecting you to believe it or agree with me. And hopefully we can influence each other. Sometimes that creates great conversation. But I think maybe just ultimately it's just a huge blessing and my A&R guy is a huge dance music fan, so when he hears my music, he's automatically like, this one would be a good remix, And so
looking for it. Mm-hmm. Well, and ultimately the delivery of the message doesn't matter as much as the message itself getting to people, and so it's just a broader audience. I think that's awesome. Yeah. Well, the album is called Need You Now, and you can get it anywhere you get your music, right? iTunes or yeah.
iTunes is so easy and so wonderful in how they make music available. But yes, anywhere music is sold, you should be able to find it. And if you can't, you can give the cashier a hard time.
There you go. Thank you so much, Plumb. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.